Орешки что-нибудь себе. А, ну да. Кстати, да. Интересная запинка, да. Есть тоже. Нет. Нет. Да, ходишь к ней редко, как плохо ходишь. Да. Хотя надо смотреть, как кто-то играет. Они для себя так играют. Когда будешь играть нормально. А, вот это нужно. Вот это, ну нет, ну да, да. Мама. Тоже так было. Так и сказал прям, да? Да, борота, потому что какие мы суфлер. Горячее должно быть. Что там, что в чем дело? Меня что-то знает, не знаю, а? Нет. А, ну вот это есть, да. Ну да, вот его, да. А, ну надо. Нет, наоборот. Ну да, типа. Подразделение на дорогу. Сейчас. Знаю, пиши их, потому что не надо тут не присоединять. Так, кушать хочу.
Thanks for checking out GuitarTricks.com recently. Quick question, want a free guitar? Yeah, you heard me right. Right now is the best time to join Guitar Tricks. For a short time, when you sign up for our annual membership, you'll get this awesome acoustic guitar for free. You just pay shipping. Click the blue button on this ad to see if we still have guitars left, because once we run out, the deal ends. This won't last very long. Our award-winning lessons have helped over 3 million people learn guitar since we started 20 years ago. The reason is simple. We have the easiest beginner guitar course ever created, and lessons for the best songs ever created. The Beatles, Pink Floyd, Ed Sheeran, and AC/DC, we have songs from nearly every popular artist you can think of. One more thing, if you aren't happy with the lessons for any reason, let us know within 60 days and we will give you a full refund and even let you keep the guitar. GuitarTricks.com is the best method to learn guitar. Click that blue button to claim your free Huntington acoustic guitar before it's too late.
There's a lot of deference being given by Republicans in Washington, D.C. to the Trump campaign's legal efforts. So let's take a look at them, because while the president can lie on Twitter, judges need facts. They need evidence. Trump claimed, for example, that Republican election observers were banned from being present in the Philadelphia Convention Center for vote counting. That's a lie. The issue was whether the observers could stand 6 feet or 20 feet away, not whether or not there were Trump campaign observers there. There were. In court, Judge Paul Diamond, an appointed observers, could stand counting. That's a lie. The issue was whether the observers could stand 6 feet or 20 feet away, not whether or not there were Trump campaign observers there. There were. In court, Judge Paul Diamond, an appointee of President George W. Bush, ended up pressing the Trump campaign lawyer, Jerome Marcus. Quote, "Are your observers in the counting room?" the judge asked. Marcus admitted there's a non-zero number of people in the room. Ah, yes, a non-zero number. "I'm asking you as a member of the bar of this court," the judge said, "are people representing the plaintiffs, the Trump campaign, in the room?" Admitted the Trump lawyer. Yes. This kind of thing's been playing out all over the country, where the standards of evidence are a little bit higher than they are on social media. In Georgia, the Trump campaign alleged that proper chain of custody was not maintained for 56 ballots in a state that President-elect Biden won by more than 14,000 votes. But 56 ballots during the canvassing process. The judge looked into that, found that the claim was unsupported. Case dismissed. All over the country it's been like this. In Wisconsin, support during the canvassing process. The judge, that's 56 ballots in a state that President-elect Biden won by more than 14,000 votes. But 56 ballots during the canvassing process. The judge looked into that, found that the claim was unsupported. Case dismissed. All over the country it's been like this. In Wisconsin, Trump-allied lawyers contesting a Biden win tried to stop the certification of votes, claiming they could prove fraud. Okay, where's the proof? The lawyer said, quote, "Evidence will be shortly forthcoming." In other words, we don't have any evidence. Same basic thing in Michigan, where Trump lawyers tried to stop the counting of the vote based on what Michigan Court of Claims Judge Cynthia Stevens called, quote, "inadmissible hearsay within hearsay." It's been frankly embarrassing. No evidence, unprofessional, desperate. Increasingly, Trump campaign lawyers seem to realize being involved in fact-free desperation efforts to overturn the results of a free and fair election might not necessarily enhance their resumes. The Trump legal team in Arizona, and trust me, you do not even want to overturn the results of a free and fair election, might not necessarily enhance their resumes. The Trump legal team in Arizona, and trust me, you do not even want to know about the crazy Sharpie nonsense they were pushing there. That legal team has folded up their tent. Other law firms have withdrawn their representation from the Trump campaign. On Friday, 9 cases from Trump and his allies intended to attack and undo President-elect Joe Biden's victory in key states. 9 cases were rejected or dropped. 9. So what now? Well, now the President of the United States is literally embracing a deranged conspiracy theory that millions of votes were changed using software. The problem here, a group of national, state, and private election officials issued a statement Thursday, which was promoted online by the cybersecurity czar at the Department of Homeland Security, with this sentence bolded: "There is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised," unquote. The problem with Republican office holders arguing that President Trump has the right to present his evidence in court is that the president's efforts do not have anything to do with evidence. They have to do with hearsay and rumor and insinuations and lies and conspiracy theories. Once these efforts have been rejected by every court, outgoing President Trump will likely continue to make them. How long is the Republican Party going to continue to defer to unhinged, mendacious desperation, led by the gang that couldn't sue straight?
Hey! Stop!
Суперман. Мана. Чего, уволили его? Нет. Доктор Справч.
2020 election cycle is not over. In fact, some of it will carry over into 2021. And 2020 is giving us a mixed message, you might say. Look, we know Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States, and we know his win is impressive. He flipped Georgia. He flipped Arizona. He's getting more than 78 million votes. That's a record for a presidential candidate. And he's winning 306 electoral college votes. That's the same number Donald Trump won 4 years ago. He called it an overwhelming landslide. So a big win for Biden. We do know that. But let's look at House races now. The House races are fascinating. Democrats came into this with the majority, right? They will still have the majority. These are the races that we've called so far. That guarantees 219 Democratic seats. It guarantees Nancy Pelosi will be Speaker again. But look at this. Still a dozen races that have not been called. Now, some of this might change, but if it came out roughly like this, that means the Democrats would lose 10 seats in an election where they thought they might gain 10 or more seats. So there's a lot of infighting and finger-pointing among Democrats over who's to blame for this. Speaker Pelosi says all will be fine.
As I said, we had a very big win in the last election. It is smaller now, but it is not, we still have the power of the majority. But on top of that, our leverage and our power is greatly enhanced by having a Democratic president in the White House.
The biggest remaining question, who will control the Senate come January? There are two runoff elections in early January, both in Georgia, right? Two Republican incumbents. Here's the math heading into them. 50 Republicans, 48 Democrats, meaning Democrats need to win them both. 50-50 means Vice President Harris would break the tie in the Senate. This is it. This will be settled in early January. So 2020 will carry over to 2021. Voters in Georgia will decide, is Mitch McConnell the majority leader or back in the minority?
We just had our leadership elections for the leadership team for the next 2 years, and we're ready to get going, even though there's some suspense about exactly whether we'll be in the majority or not, which will be answered in Georgia on January 5th.
Joining us now is Jonathan Martin of the New York Times. And Jonathan, it is interesting. 2020 will carry over into 2021. And you have a great piece in the newspaper today. We're sorting through the rubble, essentially. What message did voters send? And it's a mixed message. Joe Biden won the presidency. It's an overwhelming big win. Losses for the Democrats in the House. You write this about the warning signs for Democrats. While Mr. Biden rebuilt the Democrats' blue wall, reclaiming the swing states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, he carried them by a fraction of the margins former President Barack Obama achieved. As long as Republicans manage to amass enormous leads with working-class white voters, those states may not be safely Democratic anytime soon. Just as troubling to the party, Democrats sagged with voters of color, particularly in Hispanic and Asian American communities, where Republican attacks on Democrats as a left-wing party appear to have resonated. So Joe Biden will be president, but he has internal family issues, if you will, plus he's lost some voters.
Yeah, and I think the larger message from voters, John, in this country is that we're in this period of political trench warfare in America. And to me, 2020 reflected a continuation, essentially, not a break, but the same story that we've had 2016, 2018, now 2020, where the country's pulling further apart. Folks who live in cities and close-in suburbs increasingly vote for Democrats, but if you look at sort of the excerpts in certain rural areas, they're getting much, much more GOP leaning. And that's a real break from as recently as 2008, where President Obama won a commanding victory, brought House and Senate Democrats with him, did well in rural and urban areas alike. We're just in a much more polarized moment, John.
A much more polarized moment, and so the Democrats have governing challenges and a little family finger pointing over what happened, and Republicans have Trump. He will leave the White House in 66 days, but he still has a firm grip on the party. He got a ton of votes. Turned out his voters, Biden just outperformed him in terms of turnout. You talk about the Republican problems this way. Senator Susan Collins, the Maine Republican who just won an easier than expected re-election without ever endorsing Mr. Trump, said the president is, quote, an important voice, but not the dominant voice in the party. She points to next generation figures like Marco Rubio of Florida, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. It's President Trump's supporters party, said Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who faces re-election in 2022. That's a group of people I think the Republican Party wants to hang on to. Are both of them a little naive? They're kind of suggesting that this is about other people or just about Trump voters. He's not going anywhere.
He's not. And look, I think both parties are having a sobering moment right now after the high of the results the first couple of days. Democrats defeating Trump, of course, was their apex, and the Republicans doing better in the House and potentially holding the Senate was their unexpected good news. I think both are now sort of waking up and they're feeling a bit of a hangover. Why? Because the GOP is still the Trump party. The president won't concede, John. He's not going to go away. And even if he does eventually concede effectively by leaving the White House, he clearly wants to keep control of the party. And that's going to be a challenge going forward because Democrats are going to keep running against Trump as long as he's still in the picture. And the Republicans can't fully detach from him. And for Democrats, John, the only thing that was keeping their coalition together the last year or more was a shared enemy in Donald Trump, a common adversary in Donald Trump. And now that President Trump is not the president anymore, even though he's still around, their coalition is fraying because they are such a big coalition and they've got folks on the far left and the political middle, and now they have governing responsibilities. And so I think both of these parties, John, are being put to the test because they've got these enormous internal pressures, the GOP with Trump and Democrats obviously with their sort of ungainly base from far left to middle.
A dramatic 2020, but a lot still to sort out as we shift through the end of the year into 2021. Jonathan Martin of the New York Times, grateful for your reporting and your insights. Fabulous piece today, folks.
Разместите вакансию на ХХРУ всего за 199 рублей.
Открыть знания. Либо инсайдер. Понятно. Мультфильмы смотрите. Мультфильмы будем смотреть тебя. Я за театр.
monthly questions and answers project at Piano Career, posted by one of our members with fingers 3 and 5, which I find difficult to play simultaneously with the correct dynamics. Connecting legato is especially difficult, and I wonder if you have any practice tips. The difference in length between the fingers and their weakness may be part of my problem. In One Fine Day, the piece for dessert from lesson number 19 from the beginner course, I'm just about able to play the first 3 notes in the left-hand bar too, but not join them legato to the previous interval as you recommend. Playing simultaneously with the 4th and 5th finger is hard, but adding the B flat is really awkward. In spring, the piece for dessert from lesson number 29 for beginners in bars 1 and 2 in the right hand, I find it difficult to connect DC to the interval EG. I can play EG if I lift high, but not always getting the right tone and simultaneous playing. When following DC, I tend to pause too long or lift my hand too high, and the sound is harsh. I'm not sure if I should be turning my wrist so my elbow points out to the right or keeping it straight. Without seeing you play, I assume that you have problems with these thirds because you play them mainly from your fingers without using the whole arm correctly in the process. The fact that you mentioned the different length and strength of the fingers and also the difficulty of playing the 2 notes of an interval simultaneously reinforces this impression for me. As I explain in all tutorials, to solve a problem, we have to break it down first into smaller and easier elements. I call this the magnifying glass practice method. And just in case you didn't apply it in a thorough manner so far, now it's the perfect time to start. If you work in a detailed, mindful manner, dividing the piece into smaller elements, paying extra attention to any difficult spots,
У меня там музыки-то нет. Что там никто ничего не пишет?
When you give a gift you've made yourself, it's just different. So instead of looking in stores, look.
Each keyboard has its own unique skill set. When you want a pad, I go to Oregon. When I want to play more rhythmic or choppy things, I go to like a piano or a clav. Every one of the instruments.
Результатом интерференции двух одинаковых волн, идущих навстречу друг другу, является стоячая волна. Она называется стоячей, потому что точки, в которых амплитуда волны обращается в ноль, это узлы стоячей волны, а также точки, где амплитуда достигает максимального значения, это пучности волны, в пространстве неподвижны. Для того, чтобы наблюдать стоячую волну, мы воспользуемся источником, он за пределами кадра, зеркалом, это система медных проволок, натянутых на деревянный обруч, и приемной антенной. Интенсивность свечения лампы соответствует интенсивности волны. Сейчас лампа горит, я удаляю ее от зеркала. Первый узел стоячей волны. Пучность. Второй узел стоячей волны. Пучность. Третий узел стоячей волны. Можно, кроме того, убедиться, что если ликвидировать зеркало, а для этого я не буду его убирать, а просто поставлю так, чтобы проволоки были вертикальны. Напомню, что в той волне, с которой мы работаем, электрическое поле горизонтально. Тогда отражения от такого зеркала нет. И работает просто закон единица на r в квадрате. Чем дальше от передающей антенны, тем меньше интенсивность. Лампа не светится. Приближаю приемник к источнику. Светится лампочка с возрастающей интенсивностью, то есть никаких узлов и пучности нет. Наконец, можно вот еще в чем убедиться. Я еще раз поверну зеркало так, чтобы проволоки опять были горизонтальны. Давайте убедимся, что в непосредственной близости от нашего зеркала для волны с длиной в несколько десятков сантиметров эта система проволок все равно, что сплошной проводник. В непосредственной близости от поверхности этого проводника поле отсутствует. Приближаю антенну. Непосредственной близости поле отсутствует. Это объясняется уже просто граничными условиями на поверхности проводника.
Нет, не существует.
Hey there, it's Mike from GuitarTricks.com. Have you ever wanted to learn how to play guitar? It's a lifelong dream for many, but if you're sheltering at home right now...
Hello musicians, this is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Now, as you all know, we've been on the 14-day challenge, creating videos every day. And one of the questions we received was from Theodore Gorka. And here's what it said. How do you motivate yourself if you're feeling depressed about your skills, getting stuck on certain levels, and feeling hopeless about getting better? And he says, I'm kind of experienced, but I can't even listen to music now because I get depressed because it makes me question my own abilities. All right, well, let's answer that now. So let's get started. Here's the first thing. Listen, if you're feeling depressed about your skills, feeling stuck, unable to improve, listening to music depresses you because it's a reminder of what you aren't or where you aren't, listen, the first thing you got to understand is you are not alone. Everybody that has ever done anything of consequence at some point has had these thoughts of self-doubt. The important thing, though, is to recognize them for what they are. Simply negative thoughts. Number two, negative thoughts only lead to more negative thoughts. You know the saying, misery loves company. So here's the thing. There will always be someone who is younger, less experienced, but can do it way better than you. Every time I turn on YouTube or Instagram, there is another video of another musical prodigy playing circles around me. But this isn't a new phenomenon. Let's go back 450 years to the time of Mozart. Musicians and composers would create pieces and play them for him. And Mozart would get on right after, barely look at the music, play it perfectly, and then begin to show the musician who spent months working on this piece how they could have improved it. Talk about devastating. So here's the biggest thing you got to understand. Everyone is on their own musical journey, meaning everyone is going at their own speed. Some people are like rocket ships in their growth. They just fly up. Some move just steadily grow, get better and better, better. Others are like a roller coaster, up and down and up and down. But the important thing is to recognize you have your own journey, and comparing it to someone else's journey will always be a losing proposition. Focusing your energy on how someone else is better than you in an area doesn't help you. Rather, take that same energy and look at your strengths and weaknesses and then look to improve. Now, part of the question is about motivation. So it's important to understand your motivation style. Some people are externally motivated, some people are internally motivated. I believe, for a famous example, I believe Kobe Bryant was internally motivated. He just had a burning, intense desire to be the best and maximize his potential. And he didn't need anything from anybody else. That stuff was just, if he got something for other people, it was just gravy, but he was internally motivated. Whereas I believe Michael Jordan was externally motivated, or is externally motivated. There are many stories of Jordan having to pull up articles, remember stuff high school coaches said to him, find something that an opposing player had said, or if he couldn't find anything someone else said to motivate him, he would create something that they said just to motivate himself. So I think he's more externally motivated. For me, I'm about 75% external, 25% internal. And so I know that about myself. And so I have musician friends, students, and teachers that all help push me to be better. So it's important that you understand your motivation style and make adjustments for it. The fourth thing I want to tell you is to invest in yourself. You know, one of the hardest things to do in life is to see yourself. And that's true for piano as well. So I would encourage you to find someone to help you see your musical flaws and then to help you work through them. Someone like a teacher, Now, so many students try to do it all by themselves, trying to put a plan together from different YouTube videos over here and there, and then are frustrated with the results. Well, listen, I don't know one musician that did it all by themselves. So you have to have a real plan, a proven plan to help you succeed. You need feedback, accountability. You need all these pieces to help you improve. So shameless plug, I would love to work with you and help you get through these plateaus to become the musician you've always wanted to be. And we've actually created a system that will help you do this. And if you're interested, sign up on our early bird wait list in the description box, and I'll be sending you some things that can help you get to the next level. I don't know one musician that did it all by themselves. So you have to have a real plan, a proven plan to help you succeed. You need feedback, accountability. You need all these pieces to help you improve. So shameless plug, I would love to work with you and help you get through these plateaus to become the musician you've always wanted to be. And we've actually created a system that will help you do this. And if you're interested, sign up on our early bird wait list in the description box, and I'll be sending you some things that can help you get to the next level. All right, thank you so much for the question. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer it, because so many musicians struggle with this idea. All right. So remember to like, subscribe to the channel, as it really helps us, and comment your suggestions and questions below. All right, until the next one, be blessed and happy practicing.
This will save you lots of time and effort in the long run. On the other hand, if you simply play the piece through many times in a row, without isolating the problem spots and working on them separately, even if you play the piece slowly, this will still be a waste of time, will reinforce bad habits and mistakes. So let's use the magnifying glass method for the spot you mentioned from the first piece one fine day, and please don't hesitate to practice together with me. We start with this third interval from bar 1.
Вырезано, но это может не быть. Видеоаппараты появились давным-давно, потом видеокамеры надо позже, да. А вот я помню. Ну так, вообще просто 8, ну ладно. Фугис.
L'héritier du trône britannique, le prince Charles, et le président allemand Frank-Walter Steinmeier ont commémoré ensemble les victimes de la guerre et de la violence à l'occasion du jour du souvenir en Allemagne. Pour la première fois, un membre de la famille royale a pris part à cette cérémonie pour commémorer les victimes du nazisme et des 2 guerres mondiales. Un hommage spécifique a été rendu cette année à l'amitié germano-britannique. Lors d'un match. Pour la première fois, un membre de la famille royale a pris part à cette cérémonie pour commémorer les victimes du nazisme et des 2 guerres mondiales. Un hommage spécifique a été rendu cette année à l'amitié germano-britannique. Lors d'un discours au Bundestag en anglais et en allemand, le prince Charles a souligné les liens étroits entre les 2 nations. Contrairement à ce que l'on pourrait penser aujourd'hui, il n'était pas rare de faire ses études en Allemagne à l'aube de la Première Guerre mondiale. À cette époque, 4 membres du gouvernement britannique y avaient fait leurs études. Et étonnamment, dans les années qui ont suivi la guerre, les étudiants britanniques ont afflué à nouveau en Allemagne pour découvrir la culture allemande. C'était une expérience considérée comme indispensable à l'éducation, selon les étudiants et leurs parents. 75 ans après la fin de la Seconde Guerre mondiale, les graines de la réconciliation ont germé selon le prince Charles. L'héritier du trône a également souligné que l'Allemagne et le Royaume-Uni seraient toujours amis, partenaires et alliés, malgré les circonstances liées au Brexit.
Hey, look, sorry, I know you were just about to watch another YouTube video, but before you go, I've got a quick, important message for you. I noticed you came over to our website and you didn't pick up the video's commercial lifetime license yet. Look, if you're not interested in creating stunning video animations that engage and instantly grab...
No. Опа.